And I'm Symphony Privet. Thank you for joining us here on Featured. We hope to inspire or simply make you smile with uplifting stories across the country. All right, let's kick off things in West Texas, where a local veteran just hit a major milestone, his 100th birthday, and now he is sharing his do's and don'ts for a long life. But as Kevin Reese finds out, following them doesn't guarantee you will make it to 100 yourself.
He's a boy from West Texas who today decided his mandolin needed to play the Tennessee Waltz. In his music room in Hazlet, surrounded by the mementos of a waltz through one very long life.
I fought in Okinawa.
Ronald Ray was 19 that year in Okinawa, which this year makes the World War II veteran 100 years old.
I guess it's great. Because if I didn't make it 100, I wouldn't be here talking to you.
He lives with his daughter, Gina, who has pretty high praise.
Next to Jesus, he's the best thing that ever happened in my life. He's a wonderful person.
Ronald Ray became an electrician, a repairman, fixed autopilot systems on airplanes, even for a while served as a West Texas Justice of the Peace. His military service, his daughter wants you to remember that too.
I'm very proud of this generation and what they've given us.
When you get a chance to talk with someone at 100, you have to ask them their secrets, and Ronald has a few.
Leave tobacco alone. Leave the whiskey alone. Go to school, go to church, and be good to your wife.
And maybe I'll get to 100 too.
Well, I don't know about that.
100 and brutally honest, but also an old soldier not ready to end his own waltz just yet. In Hazlet, I'm Kevin Reese.
Older adults in Pennsylvania are staying active and energized. Gabrielle Mediak got an inside look at their routines that they say keeps their minds and bodies feeling forever young.
It's been said as we age, it's paramount to keep ourselves active.
We, in our society, we have worked really hard to add years to our lives. And I think that with aging comes a time when we are really trying now hard to add life to our years.
Warren Eschbach is one of hundreds of older adults doing just that at the Pathways Institute for Lifelong Learning in Mechanicsburg.
It's brought a whole new perspective about who I am and what I want to do at this particular stage of my life.
The programs help people ages 55 and up engage their mind, body, and spirit with more than 30 different courses to choose from each semester.
We try to offer a variety of classes catering to the entire person because we look at a person holistically and we want to meet both their spiritual, mental needs and actually also intellectual and emotional needs as well. So we offer classes that are more lecture type on history, culture, arts, and we also offer hands-on opportunities and different workshops like introduction to pickleball or, for example, cooking classes.
Warren not only lives on campus and takes the classes, but he's also an instructor.
One of the things that I do in my classes is not just give lectures. I think learning happens best when it's interactive learning.
In his earlier years, he was an educator in a parish as well as a high school and elementary school music teacher. So he's used his background to teach several different topics, including a course on current events called Reconciling in an Era of Polarity and Chaos.
In a society like we have at the current time, where there's so much polarization over almost anything, we looked at some techniques and ways in which reconciliation can be a part of our life and our living.
Participant and volunteer Linda Rooney Davis is a passionate advocate for lifelong learning, emphasizing the program's role in keeping her intellectually engaged.
It probably has made me more aware of what's happening outside of my little world. You know, there's so much going on in the world today, and so being able to stay current and get different perspectives, keep me mentally active, has been really important.
And in this constantly evolving world, she and Warren both believe learning should be a lifelong pursuit.
People think once they're finished their bachelor's courses or their high school courses, they don't need to learn anymore. I believe you should be learning all the time.
I believe very strongly in the program. I think it's a great way for individuals to stay mentally active.
To me, you're always learning. You don't stop.
That was Gabrielle Mediak reporting. In a world where handwriting feels forgotten, one classroom in Virginia is bringing back the art of cursive. And as Sean Martinelli explains, it's changing more than just their penmanship.
It is a print world where letters are now spaced like islands.
Yeah.
Until you arrive inside this Alexandria, Virginia classroom where cursive is making a comeback.
All right, so it looks like my friends are getting down with their M's and N's. It made me feel grown up when I was younger, and I wanted to be a grown up. So I thought, now I'm kind of rethinking that.
Mrs. Cherise Kennerson is not rethinking what she started here. It's a writing renaissance at Holmes Middle School's Cursive Club. On the surface, Cursive Club doesn't seem to be the most exciting club on the roster.
It's not the most exciting.
And while it took some members persuading,
she had to convince me.
You'd never guess what we heard about a club for writing.
This is my favorite club ever.
Over the past 4 years, it's become one of the school's most popular. Drama, step aside, cross country.
Move over, here comes cursive.
Students say they couldn't imagine a Declaration of Independence without the curls and swirls.
Not so captivating. Doesn't look as grand.
Or a print Bill of Rights. That wouldn't look right.
When you write in cursive, your brain's on 10. It's really fired up.
She says research shows cursive activates more regions of the brain than printing or typing. And that's not all.
One of the students actually brought to my attention, this is going to help me prevent fraud. And I'm like, what?
Mrs. Kennerson believes the real lesson here is in originality, how these students should write their own life script, whether or not it's actually in script.
But I think they're empowered by the fact that, hey, I'm different.
But before we could dot the I's and cross the T's of this story,
we have to check out your cursive writing.
It's looking pretty good.
Okay.
Perfect? No. Original? Mrs. Kennerson says yes.
Because you are an adult and you can still write in cursive, an A+.
In terms of the most beautiful cursive that you've ever seen?
That's your opinion and you're entitled to that.
That was a beautiful answer from the teacher. She wouldn't want to see my cursive handwriting. I'll give myself a thumbs down. All right, that was Sean Martinelli reporting out to a northern Colorado tribe that is watching its language fade, but not without a fight. A linguistics professor is teaming up with tribal members to keep their words, culture, and identity alive. Rachel Krause has their story.
From his office in Boulder.
Over here, he repeats it. We transcribe this by hand.
Andy Cowell helps to document and translate Arapaho.
Arapaho is being spoken, and then we have the breakdown of it, and we have free translations down here.
It's a project he's worked on for
years, many years, and it's still ongoing. There are still native speakers. We're still trying to add to the documentation.
For 25 years, the linguistics professor at CU Boulder has worked with the Northern Arapaho tribe, recording stories and conversations as he built a database to help preserve and document the language.
The Arapaho language is a gift from our Creator. Without our language, we cannot live the way that our Creator intended us to live.
William C. Hare says his language has been dying out.
It wasn't an original language. It was a spoken language passed on from generation to generation.
A tradition slowed by hundreds of years of assimilation forced upon tribes.
Our language had declined. Pretty soon, the English language became, dominant.
Cowell says now fewer than 100 people speak Arapaho, many of them elders. He's working to change that by constructing a dictionary for students to learn.
So what you see is down here is the Arapaho that she just said.
And creating a database in English and Arapaho.
And it's kind of a learning tool that speeds up your ability to acquire the language.
Tools built for and available to the tribe, helping teach the next generation of Arapaho.
For it is very imperative that we continue using our language to the greatest extent possible. Our culture is meaningless without our language to interpret it.
That was Rachel Krause reporting. We have more for you straight ahead. The underdog strikes back. A young soccer player refused to let the naysayers win. We'll tell you how he turned his biggest doubter into a believer. Plus, bold moves and big dreams. We share how a chess player is taking over the game at just 16 years old. And a little bit later, it's a step in the right direction. How technology is helping patients get back on their feet. Welcome back. In North Texas, a teen is proving that a rough start doesn't mean a rough end. This young athlete was once called the worst soccer player ever. Oh, that's terrible. But as Sean Giggy explains, he is now among some of the best on the planet.
He is the youngest.
Youngest boy.
Mark and Christy Brooks of Carrollton say their youngest son was born to play baseball.
Exactly.
That was our hope.
Dad played, both older brothers played, and he was even named after a prominent baseball manufacturer.
The name Easton came from Easton Equipment.
So, when Easton was finally old enough, he naturally gravitated to soccer.
We just were lost. We didn't know anything about soccer. I'd never ever even gone to a soccer game.
His first time training with the local select team, there were a lot of talented kids, and Easton, there in the blue shorts, wasn't one of them.
So afterwards I asked the coach, what's your assessment? And he said, to be honest, he's one of the worst soccer players I've ever seen.
Coach Guillermo Lopez didn't make that comment, but he also didn't disagree.
He didn't stand out in a positive way. I'll put it that way.
Nevertheless, Easton believed that one day he would play in Europe at the sport's highest level.
How do you fall in love with something when you're so bad at it?
Like, I just wanted to have fun. I didn't care what they were saying, and I wanted to be as good as those other kids and prove to myself that I could do it.
We said we will we'll pay the money, we'll do everything we have to get you there if you put in the work.
Yep.
So Easton upped his training.
Good. Arms.
Started working with Guillermo, or Coach G.
All right, ready? Last one. Good.
And within a couple of years, was pretty much the best player.
Good. Bottom of the foot.
On his team.
1, 2.
So good.
Lovely.
He was invited to try out.
Good. Okay.
And then selected to play in Spain. However, Easton is 15. And FIFA doesn't allow minors to play internationally unless one of your parents lives in that country.
We've got to move over there and let him follow this dream because he's met his obligation, but we've got to meet ours.
So they did. Mark stayed home. Christy got a job in Spain.
Yeah.
And last year was Easton's first overseas. That's him making the game-winning penalty kick to knock off one of the top teams. He made such an impression last season. This year, he was selected to play with a high-level professional club, Rayo Vallecano.
And go.
But there's been a snafu with his paperwork.
Blue, left. 2.
So Easton is back in the United States, playing here while waiting to rejoin his team in Spain.
The rate at which you have to process this is so fast.
When he does go back,
Flip.
He intends to stay.
Good.
To play professionally in Europe.
Tennis ball.
Yeah.
Yellow.
And eventually, for the U.S. national team.
6.
Good.
The worst soccer player on the field.
Orange.
Now one of the best.
Tennis ball. Good.
On the planet.
In my opinion, he's basically the ultimate example of what you can become.
It's okay not to be good at something as long as you just love the sport and keep playing. You can gain so much from that you won't even realize in that moment.
What is the ultimate goal for you?
To be the best.
Of your generation? Of all time?
Of all time.
You want to be the best soccer player of all time?
Yeah. I feel like if you're going to do something, you should try and be the best at it.
At this point, why would anyone doubt? Especially when it's in his DNA to always swing for the fences. In Carrollton, I'm Sean Giggy.
All right, check this out. She may be modest, but don't let that fool you. This 16-year-old is the best female chess player in her age group in the U.S. Devin Haskins sits down with the teen who was recently named Oregon's only woman grandmaster in chess.
At Westview High School,
people, attention.
The after-school chess club
Today we are playing Bug House.
Is run by one of the nation's best.
It's basically like regular chess, except there's 2 people.
Now 16 and a junior.
Good job.
Zoe Tang first found the love of the game at the age of 7 or 8.
What I really liked about chess is that it's strategy. These are normal pieces.
And before too long, found out she was actually pretty good.
I was playing as a bunch of other girls my age, and I ended up with this like giant pink trophy that was like almost as tall as I was.
And whether she's focused on her board,
Play your knight to d4. Yeah, play your knight to d4. Wait, don't do that.
or in this case, her teammate next to her,
Move pawn to d5.
she's always thinking ahead to her next big move.
Even though I'm like top at my age for girls, I can still see room for improvement.
A humble teen who just happens to be the top-ranked female of her age in the U.S. and number 2 in the world. And to top it off, she's about to be named Woman Grandmaster, one of the highest rankings
Move your king to e8.
for a woman in chess.
I want to, in the future, become international master, and grandmaster, of course, is my ultimate dream.
It's that talent and love of the game that she has that moves her to pass it on to others. In 2022, she created the nonprofit Puddletown Chess Club, holding tournaments and weekly lessons.
Our goal is to reach more scholastic chess players in Oregon, hopefully get more people interested in learning the game. And so far we've engaged over 1,500 players. I need to stop forfeiting. 1,500 players in Oregon.
Teaching isn't just about the moves, but also helping players learn the game that Zoe fell in love with.
I remember when it clicked for me, and I can see sometimes when it clicks for some of my students as well.
And in a game where strategy is king,
Mate.
a queen is taking the throne. In Beaverton, Devin Haskins.
All right, we have much more to come on Featured 10,000 Reasons to Smile. Why a social media influencer is opening his wallet to give back to shoppers. Plus, who will come out on top? Look at this. Officers and seniors go head to head in a ping pong match. Welcome back. A social media influencer is using his internet fame to help out some other folks. Colleen Sikora takes us to a gas station in Arizona where shoppers are walking out with much more than they bargained for.
Hi, welcome to Doo. Within moments.
First come, first serve.
From that post by Juan Gonzalez.
Hi, how are you doing? You're very welcome. Thanks for coming.
Dozens showing up to Didi's discounts at Thomas in the 51.
I've been following him since I was a little kid. Literally on my way to work, I got the notification.
Jesus Luna, the first in line.
He'll go around and be like, oh, can I get a plate of food? And he's just joking, he pays their rent. Like, that's a lot. That means a lot.
The deal, $10,000 on the registers with a limit of 3 items per person.
I needed bedding, pillows, and then I got perfume.
I need socks for work. I'm getting my girlfriend a little perfume. I'm getting my mom a cup.
Oh, I got this for my mom, this for my cousin, and this for my sister.
You're not getting anything for yourself?
No.
Why?
I don't need anything.
That's the name of the game. That's why we do this. We hope people take it and just pass it forward.
Gonzalez passing it forward from the past.
We used to do pranks back in the day, and once we had some success from that, we had some money, we decided to do our first give back video to kind of say thank you to the people for watching our videos, and those videos started going through the roof. So that's when we realized that giving back, helping people, works for everybody.
2 days earlier, gifting $10,000 at a Phoenix gas station, causing a gridlock, and a couple days before that, at a taco shop.
I happened to just pop in and asked about what was going on because I'd never seen a line this long.
Marissa Martinez's daughter has been across the 51 at Phoenix Children's Hospital for 3 weeks.
You know, I'm there 24/7, and we're talking 3 weeks. So I try not to even leave home and leave her, so I come and get close here. When I came in, I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. This is a little less than I have to, I can save so I can use towards the food at the hospital.
The money.
They did just max out.
Spent in less than an hour.
Thank you. I've seen a lot of people getting essentials.
Yes.
What does that tell you about where people are right now?
Well, it sounds like people are having a hard time, which makes it even better to do this, to just help people that need it.
A gift.
It's a really good idea. I mean, it's really good for the community because I know a lot of people out here, especially in Phoenix, are struggling.
Hoping others can pay forward too.
And that was Colleen Sikora reporting. All right, that's a wrap on what's trending. Here's a look at what we're covering up next. You know, looks can be deceiving. One baker, check this out, is tricking millions of folks online. We'll tell you how she turned ordinary treats into a viral sensation. Oh my goodness, that's a good one. Plus, a police officer is patrolling the classroom. We'll tell you why it's important for her to be a role model to students who struggle to be understood. Hey there, thank you for staying with us here on Featured. I'm Symphony Privet, and we are continuing to bring you uplifting stories across the country. And Pennsylvania pickleball players came together to set a new world record. Check them out. Ryan Yee takes us to the court where the teams are adding some extra meaning to every point as they play for a bigger reason.
Smashing a Guinness World Record for a cause.
We're gonna start in 3, 2, 1.
I was very happy to do the record just because we love playing, but it just makes it feel better that it is for something more meaningful at the end of the day, too.
What started as a playful idea between 4 pickleball players less than a year ago became something much bigger. Andrew Hunter, Renee Saipo, Stephen Dunham, and Steve Lesko broke the Guinness World Record for the longest consecutive pickleball match after playing for 48 straight hours. However, for them, it was the why that drew them to do the unthinkable.
Just to do what I love. It might look simple, but it's a passion of mine to help people in any way.
The world record attempt gave the foursome a platform to represent causes they hold close to their heart. They raised more than $4,000 for 4 charities.
It's really special. I mean, when you get an opportunity, you kind of have to say yes to something like this. It doesn't come around often, so it's a great community builder and something I'm really excited about.
A 48-hour world record-setting pickleball match that represented so much more.
We all have things that are big accomplishments in our own lives. We all have things that to which we can aspire and achieve that I think are just as valuable to each of our esteems and life journeys.
Ryan Yee.
All right, we got a little pop quiz for you here. What do you serve but not eat? Looks. Just kidding. A ping pong ball. A group at a senior center in Ohio is challenging law enforcement to a game, and photojournalist Cheyenne Lockridge takes us to see the action.
11-9. Yeah, so we got an invite to come participate in the senior center with a ping pong tournament here.
We play 3 times a week. We play Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We come here, we're a group of seniors, as you see, okay, and we play all levels.
I started in high school.
So you have some experience.
Yeah, I was runner-up for the championship because my brother beat me.
I have a ping pong table at home that I haven't touched in the last probably 5 years. My kids enjoy playing ping pong, but I haven't played in a little while, so I might take a beating. Good serve! Yeah! It was actually kind of a challenge from the Sylvania Township Police. They called us up and they claimed to be better ping pong players than we are, so we thought we'd take them up on that challenge and get out with the seniors here and play a little ping pong.
It's intimidating. No, they're very nice. We played them before. 2 things, he cheats about net balls. not exactly.
We had an open house, and a couple of the officers came and played. It was just sparring back and forth to show people what we had, and they were interested in challenging us. You know, we're old guys, maybe they can beat us.
Oh, this is fun. This is fun. Yeah, they're good. Yeah, they know how to play. This keeps you alive, keeps you awake, and everybody's friendly, and nobody really stands out except Maggedy. He's the top.
So you got some experience against these officers.
I do. I'm not the best one here, though.
Who's the best one here?
Magdi.
Thank you.
That was fun.
Thank you. I think the worst thing you do when you're a senior is to stay home. You know, this is a very nice and interesting activity, and we are a very nice group here, and we would love to get more people to play with us.
We won. Oh, that was so much fun.
That was so much fun. You're very, very good. You win. Congratulations.
That is so cool. That was photojournalist Cheyenne Lockridge reporting. A police officer in Iowa is stepping into the classroom to help kids who might get lost in translation. Dana Searles shows us how she is bridging the language gap to make sure those students are understood and supported.
Every few days, a group of students at Willowbrook Elementary School gather in a room, eating their lunch and laughing with friends, all because of one person, officer, and role model. Officer Dixiana Walker. But it's not for any assignment or requirement.
So typically we'll go into classrooms and then we'll just go over a curriculum like you see back here. They're all set in English, and so while I was teaching, I would notice some kids that were just not understanding what I was saying, and so the look they had was a look that I could relate to.
It's to be the person Officer Walker always needed when she was a kid.
I was born in California. I lived in LA. My parents are originally from El Salvador. We moved out here in Iowa when I was 8 years old. I started out in second grade and didn't understand anything. I was that kid where they'll look at me and they'll smile, but they have no idea what I'm saying.
So now,
take a deep breath.
A handful of students learn law enforcement lessons from Officer Walker about things like stranger danger or holiday safety, all in Spanish.
She embraced it, and she is here quite often above and beyond her regular kind of officer-friendly duties. And we've just built a partnership here.
I just know the feeling of just feeling alone, like you want to understand, and a lot of my students are very intelligent.
While teachers watch Officer Walker grow as a mentor, students shine.
It's really hard day in, day out, and when Officer Walker shows up, they're able to just be able to communicate very openly, and they've realized what an asset their language is because of her.
Altoona police say these are the moments people don't see. They believe extending these relationships now will build trust in the community for the future.
You know, I want them to be proud of their language, the culture, and everything, and then be able to implement some English and just some of the American culture and some of the American foods that a lot of my students are new to. And so it's just been cool to be that role model and them look forward to school and just share that moment with me during class time. Yeah.
And that was Dana Searles reporting. A mom and daughter came to America for a better opportunity, and now they are receiving national praise for embracing their Dominican roots. Kevin Reese shows us their remarkable journey in Texas.
It's just a small storefront in an Irving strip mall, the one with the woman hugging a Dominican plantain. But for Anais Paniagua and her mom Iris Rojas, it is so much more.
Whoever shows Doña Maria, thank you so much.
The people who give out the James Beard Awards chose their restaurant Doña Maria semi-finalist for Best Chef in Texas. Their skirt steak, their chimichurri, their sautéed shrimp and garlic mojito sauce.
We also have the mofongos.
Chosen among the state's best.
No idea. I guess somebody came and liked the food, obviously, but I have no idea whatsoever how the name came into that room.
But it's a room and a dream they made for themselves. Immigrants from the Dominican Republic, Anais joined the U.S. Army. She served 7 years.
How to be resilient, how to make plans, how to adjust for when things don't go your way, you know? So I'm grateful for everything that I learned in the military, to be honest with you. It was one of the best things that I could ever do.
After starting in their own kitchen in Killeen, Texas, they've been in Irving 3 years now. Named the restaurant after a beloved grandmother back in the Dominican Republic.
Everybody started calling my mom Doña Maria.
I am very happy, very happy.
And happy they get to spread this message too. It's in neon on the dining room wall. loosely translated from Matthew in the New Testament. God gives you what you ask him for. You just have to believe.
There's opportunity for everybody. You just have to dream, believe, and praise God for all he can do.
And armed with some hard-earned recognition, they will do all they can do to keep Doña Maria's American dream alive. In Irving, I'm Kevin Reese.
That is so awesome. Okay, now this next dish might make you do a double take. An Arkansas woman has thousands of people online asking the same question. Wait, is that cake? Here's why. Take a look. Hannah Ryder owns her own bakery, and her hyper-realistic creations are blowing up on TikTok. Look at that one. She's baked everything from a rack of ribs to a Halloween candy bucket, and her latest creation we just saw fooled millions, racking up more than 3 million views.
If you ever have dreams, don't be afraid to go for them because, 3 years ago when I started this business, I never would have thought I'd be here today. Something I was passionate about kind of turned into a business for me.
All right, that turkey looks real. No way that was cake. All right, she says the video is bringing a boost to her small town bakery along with requests for her next creation. Well, some new technology is changing the game for amputees in Connecticut. Jim Altman shows us how it is helping patients get back in motion.
No more backtracking. Sixto can walk the walk again.
Better, stronger, faster.
A double below-the-knee amputee. Sixto Esquilin has taken a leap over the past few weeks. These are what's called empower feet.
He had congenital club feet. Lots of pain, lots of swelling.
In Windsor, a collaboration between Hartford Healthcare and Hanger Clinic is helping Sixto to find his stride.
You want to try those stairs?
He's Dr. Submarani Sitarama's first patient to receive what are powered prosthetics.
I'm old, bald, and graying, right? 30-some years of working like this. What's happening with prosthesis is it's technology has changed, and this is the newest of technology. These feet actually give him that propulsion which he was missing.
Bring it up to a speed that feels comfortable for you.
Think Adidas with the New Balance. For Sixto, who owns a DJ business, he's had little issues getting in rhythm.
It just changed my walking. I mean, I go to the park, I go to events. I'm mobile. I'm going everywhere. Before I was just wheelchair. Even just going shopping was hard enough.
Feel the difference there?
Yeah.
Ken Bruno is a Hartford Healthcare physical therapist. He's had a hand in helping Sixto to literally step up.
So this helps with going up and down stairs, going up and down slopes. It does help with balance, and it's computerized and it's powered through batteries that you can take in and out, just like your drill that you get at a hardware store.
And sporting the Bionic Man t-shirt. Here they say, that's fitting.
That was amazing. How did that feel? Just careful coming down.
Yep.
Oh, I'm pumped. I could not believe it when I saw this. I was so happy for him. Life-changing. I'm happy for Sixto.
I'm just walking.
Yeah, that was great.
I see this, and I'm thinking 10 years from now, it's going to be even better. But right now, with these, oh my God. I feel like I got my real legs back.
That was Jim Altman reporting. All right, let's take a look at what's coming up next. A dog swept away, nearly lost at sea, and a rescue full of twists and turns that left everyone at the edge of their seats. Plus, we're unlocking some childhood memories. So we found out what middle school students buried in a time capsule 25 years ago. Welcome back. Some dog parents are recounting a terrifying moment. Their black lab was pulled into a dangerous rip current, and what began as a heartbreaking search soon turned into something her owners describe as a miracle. Abby shows us how hope found its way back to shore.
Hi. Brandon Valdez and Alexis Barcelos from Los Baños in Central California are holding their 5-year-old black lab mix Sadie a little tighter tonight.
You don't want to overwhelm her, but you just want to
Look at her. Squeeze her.
Sadie's still recovering after quite the adventure on Sunday, bolting from their Point Loma Airbnb.
Her and her sister both kind of ran out the door. Remy came right back. Sadie just kept going and was on a mission.
An air tag on her collar led the family straight to Donk Beach.
Just had a surfer run up to the truck. He's saying there's a dog that's on the jetty.
Lifeguards and Coast Guard swarmed the area. Sadie was last seen in the channel where the current was strong.
It was difficult conditions. There was a little bit of swell.
Lifeguards Garrett Smurden and Jack Aldridge searched by jet ski.
It was about 300 yards outside the channel.
A half hour had passed when animal searches are typically called off.
A complete blur. We're frantic. I wanted to get in the water. They didn't let me.
As the hour mark approached, the search ended.
When somebody says, it's about that time, we got to cut it off. And then you get some hope.
Valdez clinged on to that hope as Smurden and Aldridge made their way back to Mission Beach where they're stationed. They made one more pass 3/4 of a mile out.
I'd say 30 yards ahead of us, and Jack kind of spotted something in the water, pointed it out, and then we went back into a little trough and we lost it. And then when we came back up, we realized it was Sadie.
And they were and she's alive. We were already crying. We just fell to the ground, broke down.
She's going to be okay. We're just so happy she didn't give up, or she just had a reason to keep going.
Sadie's still recovering. Her lungs are good, but her pads are gone from climbing the jetty rocks.
But when we, have a success story like this, where we get to reunite Sadie with her owners, it makes the job 1,000% worth it.
Both lifeguards have dogs of their own at home. Smurden even has a black lab mix.
We gave our dogs a big kiss. Yeah.
I just wanted them to know how grateful, seriously, that we are for this.
Forever indebted.
Yeah.
That was Abby Black reporting. And now it's time to pause for a little celebration here. A pet owner went to adopt a dog and found the perfect companion for the one she had at home. They are the same breed, but their connection goes even deeper. Lauren Davis explains in Tennessee.
Aria and Sansa are sisters.
What's she doing? Good girl. Good girl.
But until recently, they were apart for several years. In 2022, when Sarah Troyer lived in Memphis, she saw Aria.
I got Ari when I found her in the shelter. She was just with her puppies. She was really thin and kind of skinny.
She fostered, then eventually adopted Aria and moved back to Knoxville. 2 years later, she says she was looking at the same shelter's website and came across Sansa.
I was scrolling through it and just kind of randomly fell upon the picture of this dog that looked just like Aria, and I was so shocked.
A few days later, she says she drove to Memphis and took Aria with her to meet this dog, to make sure they got along since she usually isn't fond of other dogs.
I could tell that they knew each other already because they immediately just went right up to each other. There was no growling.
She says she knew then she had to adopt her, so she did.
From day one, they were cuddling with each other and sleeping right next to each other.
That's when Sarah says she did a DNA test. After a few weeks, she got the results.
56% shared DNA. They are siblings, they're sisters. And that explains why they were so good with each other from the start.
She says she's happy to have found a new friend for her and Aria.
Going forward, I think Aria is going to be so much happier and so much more fulfilled.
That was Lauren Davis reporting. Stay with us. We're back right after this. Welcome back. We're checking out a collection of forgotten fire trucks in Seattle. St. Brian shows us how passion is the driving force of making sure these antiques aren't lost forever.
This might be the coolest free museum you've never heard of.
My name is Galen Thomair, and I'm the curator of the Last Resort Fire Department Museum at Seattle Fire Department headquarters.
Galen, a retired firefighter, is the second generation to care for this collection of antique firefighting vehicles. The odd name, Last Resort, was coined by his dad, who was also a firefighter and the museum's co-founder.
My dad just jokingly would say, they're all fully functional. As a matter of fact, as a last resort, if all else fails, call us. As time went on, that name kind of stuck with us.
When it comes to antique fire apparatus, don't you dare call them fire trucks. There is not a fact that Galen doesn't know. Inside,
I'm the only one who knows how to drive this thing.
And out.
There's probably over 100 different shades of red, and every department chooses their own. This is actually Dulux 93002H Cardinal Red, if you really want to know.
It's a subject he's been studying all his life.
I had been in every Seattle fire station and had pictures of all the rigs by the time I was 12. And so I knew right away from an early age I wanted to be not just a firefighter, but a Seattle firefighter.
Galen became a Seattle firefighter. That's him in one of the displays at the museum. And after he retired, he carried on what his father started, collecting and restoring these big red beasts.
If my dad and I hadn't saved some of these many, many years ago, they would have been cut up for scrap.
Saved from the scrap pile, this hand-drawn hand pumper from the mid-1800s, before firefighters used horses to pull their rigs.
And this predates the Great Seattle Fire.
This horse-drawn 1899 fire wagon with the original gold leaf.
It's a work of art, it really is.
And Seattle's first modern truck with an aerial ladder, delivered in 1937.
It's sitting in the spot where it served its entire life in the Seattle Fire Department, right here.
The museum is free, but donations are appreciated to help make sure the Last Resort Fire Department does last. And this man, who was born with smoke in his blood, is happy to spend his retirement sharing everything he knows. And that's a lot with anyone who's interested.
The word I would use is passion. It's been a lifelong passion. Some might call it a sickness, but I consider it a passion.
That was St. Brian reporting. All right, now let's visit a middle school in Tennessee that has taken it back before smartphones and social media. Old classmates reunited to crack open a time capsule sealed 25 years ago. Wow, okay, one former student doesn't exactly remember what she put inside, but she has an idea.
I think I put something to do with the Backstreet Boys. It was either like a poster or like a CD or a cassette.
Okay, that's a good one. So here's the big reveal. Once it was opened, they found a Spice Girls cassette. So not even the CD, the cassette, some old newspapers, and a Dare t-shirt. Oh, that is a throwback for sure. Okay, so that got me thinking, what would I put into a time capsule to open 25 years from now? And I think I would probably put a pair of AirPods in there. But I also want to get my featured crew in on this, and we're gonna check in with our production members, Audrey and Sophia. Hey, ladies.
Hey.
I'll start with you, Audrey. What would you put in there?
Well, I think we would have to put a Labubu in there. Like it or not, like it or not.
That's a good one, because I don't think they'll be around.
No, I don't know.
Yeah. Some kids might be like, what the heck is that?
Yeah, yeah, a little monster.
Okay, what about you, Sophia?
I think I'd put a shiny penny, since they are no longer being minted.
That is a good one. And someone will pick that up and they won't even know what that is.
They won't even know. Exactly. Someday.
That is crazy. Okay, great answers. I love both of them. And thank you guys for appearing in front of the camera. These are just some of the ladies and our production members who helped make this whole thing happen. And that is it for this episode of Featured. Make it a great one.